Right now, something major is unfolding across the United States financial system. And if you are retired, if you are on Social Security, or if you are depending on any kind of fixed income to get through each month, you are not going to want to miss this. This just came out, and people are reaching out about this from every corner of the country, flooding comment sections, sending messages, making phone calls, asking the same urgent question: what does this mean for my retirement? What does this mean for my check? And what is going to happen next? There are multiple updates happening right now all at the same time, and the combination of all of them together is what is creating this wave of fear and uncertainty that is now spreading from Wall Street all the way into the living rooms of millions of retired Americans. We are talking about the rising United States national debt hitting levels that are making even the most experienced financial analysts nervous. New warnings coming directly out of major investment banks and credit rating institutions, and a direct line being drawn between what is happening in Washington and what could happen to your retirement income. Stick with me, because I am going to break all of this down in plain, simple language, explain exactly what it means for your Social Security payments, your savings, your cost of living, and your overall financial peace of mind. I will keep you updated every single step of the way, and I am not going to leave you with fear and no answers, because that is not what this channel is about. Before we dive in, if you are new here, please take a second right now and hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications, because we track these stories every single day, and you need to be the first to know when something like this breaks. Now let us get into exactly what is happening, because the timing of this warning and the people who are sounding the alarm make this one impossible to ignore. The United States national debt has now surpassed $36 trillion, and it is climbing at a pace that has triggered a fresh round of alarm bells from some of the most respected voices in global finance. Just recently, Moody's, one of the three major credit rating agencies in the world, took the historic step of downgrading the United States credit rating, citing the country's growing debt burden and the lack of a credible long-term plan to bring spending and revenues into balance. This is not a small thing. When a credit rating agency downgrades the United States, it sends a signal to the entire global financial community that lending money to America is becoming a slightly riskier proposition. And that signal ripples outward in ways that touch every single American, especially those on fixed incomes. I will explain exactly how that ripple reaches your wallet in just a moment, so please stay with me here, because this is the part that most people are not connecting yet. Let us start with the basics, because understanding why this debt warning is different from others we have heard before is really important for putting everything else in context. The United States has carried significant national debt for a long time. That is not new. What is new right now is the speed at which that debt is growing, the interest the country is now paying on that debt, and the political environment in Washington that is making it very difficult to find solutions. The federal government is now spending more money on interest payments for the national debt than it spends on the entire defense budget. Let that sink in for a moment. More money going to interest on borrowed funds than to the military. And that interest spending is money that is not going toward Social Security, not going toward Medicare, not going toward the programs that tens of millions of retired Americans depend on every single month. People are reaching out about this because they understand instinctively that when the government has less money to work with, the programs at risk are often the ones that serve the most vulnerable people, and retirees know they are in that category. I will keep you updated as congressional budget discussions develop, and I promise to flag immediately if anything comes up that directly threatens Social Security or Medicare funding levels. Now let us talk about Wall Street, because what is happening in the financial markets right now is directly connected to this debt story, and it is creating a new layer of anxiety for retirees who have any savings, any retirement accounts, or any investments tied to market performance. When the credit downgrade came out, markets responded with immediate turbulence. Bond yields rose, meaning the cost of borrowing went up across the entire economy. Stock prices swung sharply, and investors who had been hoping for a period of stability got another reminder that the economic ground beneath them is not as solid as they would like. For retirees who are drawing down retirement savings from a 401k or an IRA, market volatility is not just a number on a screen. It is a direct threat to the pool of money they are depending on to last the rest of their lives. When markets drop significantly right when you need to take a withdrawal, you are selling shares at a lower value, which means you are depleting your account faster than planned. Financial planners call this sequence of returns risk, and it is one of the most serious dangers facing retirees in a volatile market environment. And right now, with debt fears driving bond market instability and equity markets reacting nervously to every piece of economic news, that risk is very much alive and very much on the minds of retirement specialists across the country. Stick with me, because I am going to tell you what the experts are recommending right now for people in exactly your situation, and there are concrete steps you can take to protect yourself. But first, let us connect the debt crisis directly to Social Security, because this is the question I am getting more than any other right now, and it deserves a very clear and honest answer. Social Security is funded through a dedicated trust fund that collects payroll taxes from workers and employers. It is technically separate from the general federal budget. That is an important distinction, and it is one that provides some protection for beneficiaries. However, that separation is not absolute. Congress has the authority to change how Social Security is funded, structured, and paid out. And in an environment where the federal government is under enormous pressure to reduce spending and address the debt, Social Security is always part of that conversation. The latest projections from the Social Security trustees report continue to show that without legislative changes, the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund could face depletion within the next 8 to 10 years. If that happens and no action has been taken, benefits could be automatically reduced to approximately 80% of their scheduled amounts. That would mean an immediate and significant cut to the monthly income of every Social Security recipient in the United States. Now I want to be very clear again, as I always am with you. This is not a certainty. Congress has acted before to shore up Social Security when it faced similar pressures. There is bipartisan support for protecting benefits among most lawmakers. But the current debt environment is making those conversations harder because every potential solution, whether it involves raising payroll taxes, adjusting the retirement age, or modifying benefit formulas, comes with political costs that lawmakers are increasingly reluctant to pay. I will keep you updated on every development related to Social Security solvency, any new legislation that is introduced, and any changes to the timeline that experts are projecting. Now let us talk about something that is hitting retirees right now today. Not in 8 years, not hypothetically, but in the grocery store, at the pharmacy, and on their monthly bills. The debt crisis and the market instability it is generating are adding upward pressure to inflation, and that means the everyday costs that retirees face are not coming down the way many had hoped. When bond yields rise because of debt fears, borrowing costs go up across the entire economy. That means businesses pay more to borrow money, which means they pass those costs on through higher prices. It means mortgage rates stay elevated. It means credit card interest rates remain painfully high. And for retirees on fixed incomes who are already stretched thin, every additional dollar that goes to higher prices is a dollar that does not go toward medicine, toward utilities, toward food, or toward the small pleasures that make retirement worth living. The emotional weight of this is real, and I hear it in every message that comes in. People who did everything right, who saved, who worked hard, who planned carefully, are now finding that the ground keeps shifting beneath them through no fault of their own. And that frustration is completely valid. You deserve better than this level of uncertainty, and the people making decisions in Washington need to hear from you about that. Let us now talk about what financial experts and retirement specialists are specifically recommending right now for retirees who are worried about what all of this means for their financial security. The first thing every expert is saying is to avoid panic. Making sudden dramatic changes to your financial strategy in response to market volatility often makes things worse, not better. Staying calm and strategic is the single most important thing you can do right now. The second recommendation is to review your monthly budget immediately and identify any areas where costs can be reduced without significantly impacting your quality of life. This might mean switching to generic medications, finding lower-cost grocery options, or reviewing subscription services you no longer use. Third, experts are strongly encouraging retirees to make sure they are receiving every benefit they are entitled to. Millions of seniors leave money on the table every year because they do not know about programs like the Medicare Extra Help Program, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or state property tax relief programs for seniors. Fourth, if you have retirement savings in market accounts, now is a good time to speak with a nonprofit financial counselor or a fee-only financial advisor about whether your current allocation matches your actual risk tolerance and time horizon. And fifth, stay informed. The situation is changing quickly, and being connected to reliable sources of information means you will know as soon as there are developments that require action on your part. I will keep you updated on all of these fronts, and my commitment to you is that I will always translate the complicated financial and political language into plain words that actually mean something for your daily life. Now let us zoom out for just a moment, because there is a bigger picture here that is important for understanding why this moment feels different from other economic scares we have been through. What we are seeing right now is a convergence of pressures that rarely happen all at once: a credit downgrade of the United States, a national debt growing faster than the economy, interest rates that remain elevated after years of fighting inflation, a volatile stock market sending mixed signals, and a political environment in Washington that is struggling to find common ground on virtually anything. Each of these things on its own would be a manageable challenge. Together, happening at the same time, they are creating a level of economic uncertainty that is genuinely testing the financial resilience of retirees across America. But here's what I also want you to hold on to as we close out today. The United States has faced serious economic challenges before: the savings and loan crisis, the dot-com collapse, the 2008 financial crisis. Each time it was painful, and each time the country and its people found a way through. Social Security has been paying benefits without interruption for nearly 90 years through wars, recessions, and financial panics. Medicare has protected seniors through decades of healthcare cost explosions. These programs have endurance built into their foundations. That does not mean we stop watching. It does not mean we stop demanding accountability from our elected officials. And it does not mean we ignore the very real pressures that are squeezing retirement budgets right now. It means we stay alert, stay informed, stay connected to each other, and keep pushing for the protections that every retired American has earned. If this update helped you today, please give it a thumbs up right now so that more people can find this channel when they are searching for answers. Leave a comment below and tell me what worries you most about the current economic situation. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do that right now. We are here every single day tracking the stories that matter most to you, and you deserve to have that information the moment it breaks. I will be back very soon with more updates on Social Security, Medicare, the economy, and everything else that affects your income, your benefits, and your financial future. Until then, please take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and remember that you worked a lifetime for the stability you deserve. We are going to keep fighting for that together. I will keep you updated.